Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. If you read the title for this, you know that today I am starting One Piece by Eiichiro Oda. This one doesn't need an introduction. It's one of the most famous manga series of all time and I've been wanting to read it for many years, but then I never did because I was intimidated by the sheer size of it. And then manga became super popular, so we started to get like manga in my local stores much more, and I saw they had One Piece and then it was a sale and then I started buying them and I'm like, well, now I need to start. So yeah, I was going to start in August and I'm reading this for like a challenge thing this month. I don't need to finish that in July, but I'm here. You're gonna watch this in August anyway. And I thought that I would make like at least a vlog for the first one. I want to do one for every like volume with 3 volumes. This is not called a volume. It has a different name. I'm fully aware. I could do with Berserk, but I realized there's like a billion of these, so there will literally be like a billion videos. So I don't know if I like do several videos with volume, but then they're a lot longer, or if several shorter ones. I don't know. My Berserk videos are actually pretty long. I don't know what's gonna happen. But I'm starting this today. I'm only reading this one today. And I know it's like pirate thing. I know they're chasing this treasure called One Piece, but we don't know actually what it is. And then I know it's like over 1,000 chapters long. That's what I know. I hope I will love it. I'm very excited to start, and I'm very glad I have these vinyls because it takes like space in the shelf. I don't know how I'll have space for more of them. So far I own 3 of these, so we shall see. I'm very excited to start. I'm thinking for now this video I will try to do like I do Berserk, so I literally will stop every chapter. We will see how that works out, but I will try. So I'm gonna start it now, and I will see you in like a minute or something. Or I don't know how long the chapters are, so we shall see. Okay, we are much longer than 1 minute later because the first chapter was long and I was reading very thoroughly, so I didn't miss anything. First chapter was called Romance Dawn, and it was basically a little backstory for our main character. I would call him Luffy. Is that how you say his name? Luffy is our main character. And he is a small kid in the beginning, and he really wants to join these pirates who's had their base in his town for a year now, and they're going out on voyages, etc. And he's been looking up to them and want to join them, and they're like, dude, you can't even swim. It's really dangerous out there, but he's just like, yeah, but I want to join you guys. The captain of that pirate ship is called Shanks, and then these mountain bandits come down and are like, haha, we want all the alcohol in this place, because they were in like a, I was gonna call it a pub, but it's probably the wrong word. Inn maybe is the better word. And then like Shanks kind of didn't do anything. He just laughed it off like when they threw drinks at him, etc. And Luffy was very surprised because he was like, why are you not fighting back? Why you not just kill them? You're pirates. And they're like, but it takes more courage to not take a life. And then Luffy's very disappointed because he really looked up to them and thought they were like really cool and badass. And then they leave on this voyage, and then the mountain gangsters comes down again to the pub and they shit talk Shanks, and Luffy gets very upset and like starts to fight them. After this, when the mountain people have left, mountain gangsters, maybe the right word, they found out that Luffy ate this fruit called the gum fruit, or the devil's fruit, which basically makes all his limbs liquid. So he can like stretch really far. He can never learn to swim because I guess when he's in water he would just, I was gonna say wiggle. Like, it's bad because he wants to become a pirate. Then when the Shanks and crew is out on a voyage, the mountain people come down again and shit talk Shanks. And even though Luffy is disappointed in Shanks because he was a coward, he stands up for him and is like, he's not a coward, la 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 la. And a fight starts out. Right in the middle of the fight, when they're basically kicking Luffy's ass, the pirates come back again and they like kick the ass of the mountain gangsters. And it's really like wow moment for Luffy because he realizes that they have been badass all along. And then the main mountain person takes Luffy as like a hostage out on sea, and then he's just like, I don't need you anymore, and then he throws him out in the ocean. And obviously Luffy can't swim, but then this big fish comes and eats the mountain gangster dude, and then Shanks jumps into the water and saves Luffy because obviously he can't swim, as I said. And then the fish attacks him and he loses his arm for him, and I was like, he was like, oh. And then the whole time when he was defending him in the fight, he was just like, you don't hurt my friends. You can throw drinks at me all you want and be a bully, but you don't hurt my friends. And I was just like, okay, make me cry, fine. And then in the end, they're gonna leave, yeah, Shanks and them, and then it's like gonna be the last time they leave, like, so they're not coming back again to this village. And Luffy says that he had planned to ask him to come along with him the whole time. Obviously, he asked many times, but he said he now changed his mind. He knows it's very dangerous and that he's not ready. But one day he will become the king of the pirates and, like, return. And Shanks is like, okay, fine, if you say that. And then he gives him his straw hat. And it's like, one day when you're a great pirate, come back and give this to me. And I was like, okay, you want me to cry? Obviously, I seen pictures from One Piece and I know he has a straw hat on the whole time. He's known to wear the straw hats, but I didn't know, like, the significance behind the hats before now. And I'm just like, okay, that's even more touching. And the crew of, like, Shanks tells him that he reminds him of Shanks when he was a kid. And I was just like, okay, fine. Then we jump 10 years later, where we have Luffy is now going to go out on his journey. He needs to find a crew and a ship, etc. to start his journey to become the Pirate King. I guess we're not looking for the One Piece yet. We will get to it, I assume. And he has practiced his skills. So the fish that attacked him when he was a kid shows up, and then we see him stretch his arm really, really far and uses his gum arm to beat him. And it worked. He still can't swim though. I'm a bit worried for him, but I'm sure it will be fine. He just says, well, if I can't swim, I would just be a pirate that don't fall into water. I'm like, dude. But he should wear, like, a life vest. Because while he can't swim, he won't sink. Do they have life vests in this story? Because he needs that. He needs to have, like, that and, like, armor rings. Like babies have. Or, like, just a ring, a life vest, and arm rings. And then I will feel safe for him. That is the first chapter. It was much longer, as I said, than I thought it would. I'm used to chapters in manga being very, very short. It's not a bad thing, obviously. Obviously know about One Piece, but, like, just seeing the story fold out and knowing how much I have, I'm just like, it was really cool. It was very sweet already. Sorry for any name pronunciations, etc. that are weird. I also really want to watch the anime, but do I have time to watch anime on this? Maybe I'll watch them side by side. We shall see. But either way, gonna keep going now. Okay, chapter 2 was called, they call him Straw Hat Luffy. We have Luffy starting his journey on sea, and then he's stuck in a whirlpool. He's like, oh my god, everything has gone wrong so fast. Then we switch over to this pirate ship, where the captain is Lady Iron May's Alvida, and she wants to be called beautiful all the time, while she's not. And we follow her cabin boy a bit, Kobe. And it takes stuff into land, which is her, like, stronghold, or, like, secret hiding place, I guess. And Luffy shows up in the bar and is like, hello, had a good nap. Because he hid in there, survived the whirlpool, I think. And then he, like, falls down a little cliff. And Kobe comes with him and shows him, like, a little boat that he had made so he could escape, but he was too scared to ever escape. He was scared that Alvida would find her and he would die, and etc. And Luffy was like, you should just do what you want. And he's like, you're not scared of dying? And he's like, nah. And Luffy, like, says he wants to become the king of the pirates, and Kobe's, like, very shocked. He's like, you looking for One Piece, which is a lost treasure from Gold Rogers, which is, like, I think he was one king of the pirates in the beginning that, like, was dying. It was, like, a little chapter thing in the beginning that I forgot to mention. I think, is it even real? This is the golden age of pirates as well. So, like, maybe he just wanted them all to just go out pirating. I don't know. Maybe we'll prove him wrong. It is called One Piece after all. But then Lady Alvida shows up and is like, you thought you could escape me, ha ha ha. Kobe has gotten courage now from talking with Luffy, who was so fearless. And he says that he thinks that she's the ugliest hag of all. And I laughed because it was a bit funny. He found some courage there. And then she's like, how dare you? And he's gonna punch them. She also ruined his boat. She hits Luffy with her iron mace. But he was just like, it doesn't hurt because I'm made out of rubber. And I'm like, oh, it was rubber, not liquid. What did I say earlier? I said liquid. I don't know why I said liquid. But obviously rubber, because that stretches, etc. While liquid is fluid. So that would be, like, squishy. I don't know how to say words. So he basically just punched her in the face. And then they get, like, a little, what's it called? A boat. A dinghy. So they leave together. And Kobe do want to join, like, the Navy. He wants to arrest pirates. That was his biggest dream, but he's been too scared because he accidentally entered a pirate ship when he was a kid. Or not a kid, 1 year ago, 2 years ago. I don't know if he will join then or will he join Luffy's team. We shall see. Now they are going to the Navy base where Rononda Solo is imprisoned. And Luffy wants to free him to ask him to join his crew. And he's like, a beast, a monster. I don't know who this is because I don't know anything about One Piece, but I think I like seeing stuff from him if he's the right person in my mind. So we shall see if it managed to free him and make him join the crew. Starting chapter 3, Enter Zolo-Pirate Hunter. Okay. So Kobe and Luffy arrives in this town, and when they arrive, Luffy says to Kobe like, "Oh my god, you just got us to where we were gonna go." And Kobe was like, "Yeah, basic navigational skills is what you need at sea. You kind of need a navigator, so maybe Kobe will become Luffy's navigator." But also, he was like, "You can't just float around," which is what Luffy was doing. Either way, then they go to this place to eat, and Luffy says Solo's name out loud, and then everyone's like, because people are super scared of him. But he also said Captain Morgan's name out loud, or I was Kobe said it and got super scared. Captain Morgan seems to be the captain of like the Navy. We haven't met him yet. Either way, then they go over to the Navy prison, and Luffy wants to look over the fence, and Kobe's like, "You're not gonna see Solo just looking over the fence. He's probably like down in a dungeon somewhere." He's literally stripped up in the middle of the yard, and then this little girl just jumps over and want to give him some rice balls, and he's just like, "I don't want anything." Dan Halmapo shows up. I don't know how to say that name, but he's the son of Captain Morgan, and he's like bullying Solo, and it's like, "Ha ha 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 ha, you need to be here for a month. If you can survive that, then I will let you go." Which is always a lie. And then he takes the little girl's rice ball and like eats one of them. It's like, "Oh, it was sweet with sugar," and throws it in the dirt and says it sucks, and she starts crying. And then he makes one of his dude throw her over the fence again. Luffy catches her. Then Luffy goes over when like Helma Paul is gone, and it's like, "Hey, wanna join my pirate crew?" And Solo's like, "No, why would I stoop so low? I'm gonna get out of here in a month." And Luffy's like, "Okay." So they leave, and when they leave with the little girl, she says that the only reason Solo got arrested was because of her, because he saved her because the dogs were running loose and attacked her, and he like attacked one of the dogs that was Helma Paul's. I'm sure that's not how you say that name, by the way. And then they threw him in prison because like usually he's a bounty hunter, so bounty hunters wouldn't get arrested to go up the bounties, but he attacked this dog, which is like, don't attack dogs, but also they were bad dogs because they have a bad owner. And now when Luffy hears this, he's just like, "I'm gonna ask him to join my crew." But also, before that, before he left Solo asked him to give him the rice ball that was on like the ground, and he ate the whole thing even though it tasted like dirt because he'd been lying in the dirt. And I think he did it because he felt bad for the girl. And I was like, Solo is a good guy. That's what I'm getting. That's what's going on. So I think they're gonna go in and save him, because now Helma Paul went around in the town and said that he would execute Solo in 3 days. But obviously, Solo can't hear this because he's in prison. And that's when Luffy heard this as well. And it's like, oh, so I assume maybe he can strike a deal or something. I don't even know. But it's fun times. It's good times. So yeah, it's an interesting thing. Need to get his crew, etc. So I'm happy and I'm gonna continue. Okay, so about chapter 4, the great Captain Morgan. So first, I forgot to say that in the last chapter, it ended up with Luffy punching Paw in the face. So now he's running off to Daddy to like, "Oh my god, Daddy, please kill him." And Captain Morgan's like, "You're useless. I'm only gonna kill the people who defy me, and this person who punched you is because you are a terrible son or whatever." And I was like, dang, dude. It's so weird he has daddy problems, I was gonna say. Then Luffy decided to talk to Solo again, as I said earlier. And Solo has that they took his sword. So Luffy just decides that if he can get his sword back, he has to join his crew. And Solo's like, what? So at the same time, they are raising this huge statue of Captain Morgan, who is like the leader of this town, the Navy, and like he's like, "I have status." He needs a huge statue to represent his status. And then Luffy hears voices because he can't find like the sun or anything, because he needs to ask him where he put his sword. So he like uses his Gum arm to like raise up this building basically, and then he needs to catch with all like the ropes that is holding this statue, and he destroys the whole thing. The whole thing gets ruined, it gets broken, and the captain is like, it was very funny. A bit unlucky. I feel like Luffy is just YOLOing through his whole life, and I wish I had that attitude. At the same time, right before that, the captain ordered a dude to like go and kill the girl, Rika, who like defied his orders by giving Solo food or whatever. And that dude did not want to go and kill a kid, so he killed him. And I was like, oh. But either way, I guess no one was sent after Rika then. Rika was the little girl, by the way. We found out her name. Now, Luffy grabs the sun and like takes him into the building and is like, where is the sword? And I was like, I will show you if you stop dragging me around. Yes, people are hunting them. Then at the same time, we have Kobe deciding to free Zolo because he's like, it's not right that you're here and it's not right that like the Navy did this to you. And then when he does that, like he started to like unrope the ropes, he gets shot in the chest. So did Kobe die? I don't know, we didn't see him die, we just saw him get shot. And yeah, that's how it ended, a bit on a cliffhanger. We're going to chapter 5, the King of the Pirates and the Master Swordsman. Master Swordsman? Is Guts gonna show up? I'm joking. Okay. Let's see what happens here. Okay. Luffy is running around with Papo, and then he says that the swords are in his room, so they need to go all the way back. So he does get the swords. There's 3 of them, but he doesn't know which one is Zolo's. Then we switch over to Zolo, who, you know, was always saved by Kobe. Kobe shot in the shoulder, but he's fine. Papo also got shot in the shoulder. Just saying. There is a mirroring there, but he says he can't die yet because they're coming down to execute him. And then we get a flashback with Zolo when he was a kid. He was training the sword, and then the daughter of the sensei kept beating everyone because she was like older, but also she's been training, I guess, more since she's the daughter of the sensei, maybe. Natural talent. And he said his biggest dream was to beat her, but he never could. And then she said, but when you're older, you will be a man and you will be physically stronger than me anyway. I'll start to get breasts and I can't, like, I won't be strong anymore. And he's like, stop saying that. My biggest dream is to beat you and become a master swordsman. And she says her dream was also become a master swordsman. And they promised each other to like become master swordsmen and beat each other and fight each other for the title. And then the next day she fell down the stairs and died. So he never got to fulfill that promise. But now he promises to become a master swordsman and known in the heavens for her and for them. So he needs to do it before he dies. So he's like, I can't die yet. Then all the like Navy people are surrounding like them in the yard, and then he's gonna shoot them, and then Luffy comes in last moment and like bullets can't hit him because he's made of rubber. I'm not made of rubber, but he has become rubber. He says to Zolo that you can follow the law if you want to and stay here and die, or you can follow me and I get these swords and fight with me, but then you will break the law in all these people's faces. So Zolo agrees to go with him, even though he's like, dang, you must be a devil child because now I need to, and fine, you got yourself a pirate. So yeah, now they're gonna fight out. That's how it ends, and I'm like, dang, Zolo might so far become my favorite. But we shall see. I'm gonna eat breakfast, take a little break, see you soon. Okay, so I now have continued and read chapter 6, which was number 1. In this one, we basically just fight the Navy. So we have Luffy finally freeing Zolo, and then Zolo like literally holds back like the whole Navy with his 3 swords, which is really cool. Then Luffy uses his different abilities, which is like Gum Gum Whip and Gum Gum Pistol, and I think it's really like, it's fun. It's like, it's just funny. It reminds me a bit of Pokemon, which is kind of funny. I also maybe the point, I'm not sure. And when like he's gonna fight the captain is like, I am Captain Morgan. And then Luffy's like, hello, nice to meet you. I am Luffy. He's just very like sweet and naive and wholesome, and I love him. But either way, then the son threatens to shoot Kobe. And then Kobe said, no, just let them sacrifice me. But he doesn't manage to shoot them anyway. They like stop it by fighting and hitting, etc. So it's just like, it's no worries, Captain. And I'm like, dang. I love it. I love the Adventures vibe. But either way, it's basically what happened. I feel like I'm summarizing badly, but also I assume people who watch this have already read it anyway. But yeah, gonna continue. Chapter 7, Friends. Okay, Chapter 7, Friends. So all the soldiers are super happy that they took down Morgan because he was like terrible and ruled with fear and everyone hated him. So they're actually really grateful that they defeated him. So they're sitting and eating at like the place they ate in the beginning, and then the sailors come in like, actually we can't harbor pirates, so you guys need to leave. And they're like, oh. And right before that they talked about how Kobe wants to join the Navy, but like they can't know about his past because then like since he worked for a pirate, like that will be seen upon as bad. And right before they leave, Luffy and Zolo leaves, and then they're like, are you not gonna go with them to Kobe? And then Kobe's like, no, they're not my friends. And then Luffy comes in and like goads at him so that Kobe would hit him, and then they like have a fight, so it just shows that they're not friends. Really, they're smiling. And then afterwards, Solo's like, that was so terrible, I can't believe they didn't look through that, because Kobe is allowed to join the Navy. But then also at the beach, but when they leave, they like salute them, and like thank you for everything. Like first Kobe comes and salutes them, and then all the other sailors come saying, then I assume that they know that they were friends. Either way, they left, and then in the end of the chapter said that Solo and Luffy did a huge mistake. Don't know what that mistake is. I guess we will find out. And now we're going to chapter 8, Nami, which I think is the last chapter in volume 1. Okay, finished with volume 1, and we got to meet Nami, which is why the chapter was called Nami. So basically what happens is that they're on a boat and they don't have any food and they're starving, and then Luffy sees a bird in the sky, so he travels up with his gum and tries to take it, but the bird carries him away. So Solo's again left in their boat, and then he sees 3 people in the ocean and saves them, and they are pirates. And then the next page is just like they were beaten up and like, yeah, they tried to like take him, but yeah, that didn't happen, you know? And they tell that they got tricked by this girl who was in like a tiny boat and had a treasure. It's like, oh my god, I need help in water. And then they went over to the boat to take her treasure, and then she took their boat instead and they sunk. And this girl is Nami, who we also see now in the next scene where she's running away, stolen this map to the last line, or the Grand Line, sorry, which is where everyone is now going, because that's where they need to go to, I think, find a One Piece, or like is on a way or something. She has this map. He lands right in the middle of them and it's like, hey, and then she says that he is her boss, and they all like turn to him to beat him, but then he uses his abilities obviously to beat them. And then she's like, hey, I actually rob pirates, wanna team up? And he's like, rob pirates, because he is a pirate himself. That's how that ends, and that's how we got introduced to Nami. Now I'm starting volume 2, which is titled Buggy the Clown. Buggy, I think, was the captain of like the 3 people who like, I was gonna say, landed in the boat with Solo. So chapter 9 is called Femme Fatale, which I don't know if how you pronounce it. But let's go. Oh, and I forgot to add, in the fight, one of the people who fought Luffy tried to like take his hat, and he was like, don't touch the hat. And I'm like, I'm getting attached to this stupid hat as well. Either way, let's go. Okay, so Luffy and Nami sits down and have a chat, and together she wants them to work together and says how she's gonna go to the Grand Line and like grab all the pirates, get a used treasure. She needs 100 million berries. Berries used to be the currency they use here. I thought at first she meant like berries you eat. But it was not. And then he's like, can you navigate? And she's like, yeah. And I'm also going to Grand Line. You want to join my crew of pirates? And she hates pirates, which is a bit funny. She hates pirates, and I assume she is going to join the crew. But also Solo also hated pirates in a way, because he was a pirate bounty hunter. So it's an interesting, I was going to say, thing. Either way, we also see Buggy the Clown, which is the pirate captain that rules this place that they're now in. And Nami's like, okay, sure, I will join your crew if you go and see Buggy with me. And then she tricks Luffy and like takes ropes on him and says that he's a thief and he's not put in a cage, and he's not happy about it. Then Solo also arrives at the island, so I assume he will save his captain. We shall see how this turns around, but I think Nami was just using Luffy as like a scapegoat, obviously, to make her escape with a map. We shall see. Ape. I'm feeling stuff. Okay, so Nami joins the crew because she is gonna steal their treasure. And then Luffy is still in his cage, and then she goes over to be like, haha. Buggy comes over and shows off his buggy balls, which is basically huge cannons that he put in this cannon machine, and he like shows that he literally blows down like 10 houses in a row. And then he tells her that she needs to use this on Luffy, but she doesn't want to be a killer, so instead she turns against them, and they're like, oh, super shocked, and they're attacking. And then Solo also comes and saves the day when she's being overwhelmed, and they're all really shocked that Solo is with a pirate because he's known to be a pirate hunter, and she's also shocked. I love that Solo just have a fierce reputation, which is exactly what he wanted, and I love him, okay? The while Luffy has been chewing on his cage trying to get out, like literally chewing. He has huge teeth. Now they're fighting Buggy. Buggy just like went, like Solo like cut him in pieces, and I like, that's too easy. So I assuming that maybe it wasn't Buggy. Maybe it was like a puppet. I don't know. We shall see. Next chapter is called Flights. Or it just was super easy. That is also possible. I love Solo so much. Either way. So they are having this fight. And as I said, Solo did not beat Buggy. Buggy can like be cut and sliced up again, but comes back together again because he's a chop man. And then Luffy's like, he's a freak, and then we have an arrow pointing at him because he's a gum man, and it was just funny. Solo does get stabbed with like a flowing hand thing, and then Luffy's like, run away, and then Solo's like, I'm not gonna leave you. But then he like looks at the cannon and they turn it against the others, and they're just like, oh, to shoot a ball at them, and in like the smoke, Solo lifts the cage and Luffy's in, and then Luffy's like, your insides will squirt out. And then Solo's like, it's okay, I will just push them back in again. Like, what? They're ridiculous. Then they managed to run and they're hiding. And then someone also said that someone took the key to the cage, which is like a big iron cage. They said they needed 5 men to lift, but Solo is just soloing it. Haha. I think Nami took the key and it's gonna help them. But yeah, they're now looking for them and saying it's a declaration of war and trying to find them. And then Nami's very shocked that Solo would like sacrifice himself to save Luffy. She's just like, pirates don't do that. But they are special. And I love it. Okay, so now we're at chapter 12, which is called Dog. They do literally meet a dog. They are running away, as I said. And Solo can't carry Luffy anymore because it's heavy and it's losing a lot of blood. So they literally stop in the middle of the street. And then they meet this dog that chews on them a bit and is just standing there. And then Nami comes in and is like, you guys know you're hiding in the middle of the street, right? And she brings the key and throws it down on the ground, and then the dog eats the key, so they can't get Luffy out of the cage. And the mayor of the town shows up. Didn't even know this town had a mayor, but apparently they live in like shelters outside the town because like the pirates are taking over. The dog lives there alone because he's washing the shop of his owner. He knows probably the owner is dead, but he's washing the shop because it's the last treasure that he had from his owner, which is very sweet. And then Muhi, the lion tamer, shows up, which is like the second lieutenant to Buggy, and then he is riding like this huge lion thing that chews Luffy's cage, so he's out and is thrown into a building, but obviously survives fine, and then he's turning to others and they're gonna fight. That's what's going on. Is this dog gonna join the crew? Because that's not what I want, as long as it survives forever. The name of the dog was, by the way, Chocho, and he defends the store with all his hearts. But that is defeated and they do burn down the pet shop, and he's very sad. Luffy comes and is very upset on his behalf and defeats the lion tamer dude for him. He's very upset and gives him like one last box of pet food, and it's like, that's all I could save for you. And then they wish each other good luck, and I'm like, you're not joining the crew? Because that's what I wanted, but fine. Buggy did find out that he was defeated, so he is now getting ready his balls to fight some more. I miss Solo. But also Nami's witnessing all this and like doesn't know how to take it in. So I'm curious to see. I know she's joined, but I'm curious to see what happens. I finished chapter 14, Reckless. And in the end, you know, between every chapter, there's usually like a thing from the author. And then the author wrote about like a Viking show they watched when they were a kid and how old they are now. 23. They were started One Piece when they were 23. I mean, they started before this, obviously. But I'm like, 23. That is younger than I am now. I'm like, what? That is insane. Either way, I don't know why. 23, well, what? What happened in this chapter? The lion dude came back to Buggy to warn him about Luffy being Gum Gum Man, but he just says, rub. And then he just like passes out. So he didn't get to say that. All of the others were like, what? So he's preparing balls. And then we go back to the dog arriving where like the refugees are. They're just like, where's the mayor? He cares a lot about his town. We go back to Luffy and the mayor and them. And the mayor talks about how they built this town from scratch 40 years ago and I built it into a wonderful place. And he's sad they didn't fight for it. And now he's being reckless by going to fight for it. And they're just like, we are gonna fight with you. Basically, Nami agrees to join their crew, but not like as a pirate, just like they are working together for a common goal, because she also needs to go to the lion place because she wants to steal that treasure. So she's joining them, but she's not a pirate. And it's a bit funny because then Buggy does show up and like shoots a cannon at them, or a ball at them, and Solo's in one of the buildings, and Luffy was like, hello, he was in there, and then I was like, no way he could survive that. And then he comes out and he's like, oh, that was an alarm clock. And they're like, are you better now? He's like, yeah. And it's like, that's not possible. And also, she said it's not possible that he could have survived that. Obviously, yes. But I love that the manga like shouts out itself for being ridiculous of how people like are surviving stuff that they shouldn't. And I think it's a bit funny, okay? Chapter 15, Gong. We're gonna fight and stuff. And yeah, it's just very fun. I'm dying. So in this one we have the mayor challenging Buggy, and they're like, why would I care even anything of what you say? And then the mayor's basically and they're screaming, and Luffy the other shows up, And Luffy knocks the mayor unconscious because he was just like, it's my fight, but he was gonna get himself in trouble. Then he calls Buggy Big Nose, which is like very bad. He does not get happy about that. And he throws like a cannonball at them, but they're all like panicking. Yeah, Nami and Solo. And then Luffy becomes a big balloon. He uses Gum Gum Balloon, which is now my favorite ability ever. He throws it back at them and he's like, I guess that will even the odds. And I just love, because Solo was like, you made me war for nothing. You could have told me what you were planning. Why is that the sweetest thing ever? I love it so much. I guess we're just gonna keep fighting. Okay, so out of the rubble of the ball, Buggy's crew rises. And among them we have the second lieutenant. What was his name again? Kabaji, the acrobat. Solo's like, if sword is your thing, let's fight with swords. And Kabaji like kisses Solo's wound, etc. But Solo still manages to do really well. And it's like, cut himself, and it's like, is that enough of a handicap for you? And I'm like, dang, dude. And then Luffy's standing there like, oh my god, Solo is so cool. I love that they just like fangirl over each other. I love them. Okay, we're gonna fight. This was chapter 16 versus Buggy's crew, and the next one is 17, high level, low level, by the way. Okay, so I read chapter 17, high level, low level, where we just had Kabaji showing off a lot of circus tricks. And Solo was like, ugh. And also, Buggy tried to intervene with his like flying hands things, but then Luffy stopped them and I was like, don't interfere in this duel. And then after all the circus tricks, Solo was just like, oh, okay, let's finish this. Finished, done. And then he's going to sleep, and now Luffy's going to take care of Buggy. And then this volume ended, so we're now going into volume 3, which is the last volume in this, obviously, which is called Don't Get Fooled Again. I love that the volumes have undertitles as well. I think that's very sweet. Not that others don't, but I don't remember right now. Let's go into volume 3, and I bet we're gonna beat Buggy now and then go start on something else, we shall see. Okay, so apparently Buggy knows Shanks. They used to like work together as pirate and princesses or something. But either way, they're fighting, and then he nibs of his hat, and then he gets like very upset because the hat is like being nibbed. I'm also thinking, if he's worn it every day for like 10 years, shouldn't it be like straw falling out of it? Because that's what happens to straw hats. But apparently it's a nice condition either way. And then he's just like, oh, that hat means something to you. And he stabs it through with 3 knives. And now it's like, it's destroyed. And Luffy's not happy. And then he also says that, as I said, that he knows Shanks. And then like, he's like, Shanks is not for like you. He can know you or work with you. So yeah, there's that. Going to chapter 19, Devil Fruit. Okay, so they're still fighting. But this time, Buggy gave some info about the past of him and Shanks. So apparently Shanks and him were friends-ish on this crew. Obviously, kind of rivals because they're all pirates. But like, ish friends. And they find this treasure map and they want to get it. And he pretended to eat like a devil's fruit they had on the ship because he found out it was 100 million berries. And he pretended to eat it so he can take it and sell it for 100 million berries, as well as get his treasure on the bottom of the sea, because he knew if he took the fruit, he wouldn't be able to swim anymore. But then Shanks come up behind it when he was like hiding the fruit, and he ate it by accident, and then at the same time lost the map in the sea and also almost drowned, and Shanks saved him. So he blames Shanks for losing out on this treasure, as well as, you know, actually having eaten the fruit. That's why he's very mad. And now he also saw that Nami was stealing from his treasure, so I guess he was gonna maybe turn his attention to her and attack her. But yeah, that was a story time within this chapter, and I like it. So chapter 20, The Way of the Thief. A lot of serious things are happening, but at the same time you like solving stuff in kind of humoristic way. But either way, he turns his attention to Nami and attacks her and like splits up his body. And then when he does that, Luffy like kicks him in the balls because his lower body is still standing there. And at the same time, the whole body splits apart later, and he tickles like him under his feet while he's trying to take Nami because she took his treasure. And it's just really like fun way to do it, I guess. It looks very funny. And then when he's gonna like all assemble again, he's like super tiny because Nami took the rest of his body and like took it together with a rope. So what I would do is then just drop that in the ocean, like, because then he's super tiny and not threatening. I would drop the rest of his body in the ocean with rocks or something, because then it can't fly all together because, you know, can't swim, right? So yeah, that's what I would do. Okay, so chapter 21 is Townies. Earlier everybody saw the town people going to look after the mayor, so I forgot to say. Okay, so the fight was, as I said, over, and then the other Townies did show up, and it's like, what happened here? And then Luffy admits to like being the one knocked out the neighbor and saying they're pirates, so they chased them out of town. And then the mayor does wake up and it's like, wow, what? And then he runs after them to thank them. Also, when they were running out, by the way, Kuro showed up again and like helped them, and it was very sweet. Luffy also gave away half his treasure to like the town people so that they can rebuild the town, and he's Just a good guy. He's a pirate, but is he a pirate? Is he not more of a hero? I don't know. Hero pirate? I don't know like the word for it, but you get what I mean. And now they're going out to a new adventure, I think. So chapter 22 is Strange Creatures. So let's see what that will entail. So this was actually a really sweet chapter where they stop at this island with a forest. They meet this man that is stuck inside his chest, who's been there for 20 years protecting this treasure on the top of a rock that he can't get to. And Luffy goes up there really easily and says that all the chests are empty, which is a bit sad, but at the same time it was like, okay, he still wants to just guard the forest and the island. He did get an offer to join the crew, but he didn't. And then, like, it was kind of like a whole, like, just little story thing where just went on an island. It was very cute and sweet. And yeah, they're sailing by the way one ship each because Nami has her own ship that she stole from the pirates earlier. So they're just, like, sailing in two small boats beside each other. I feel it makes me anxious that they're not on the same boat because I feel like they're going to be separated by something. Next chapter is called The Dread Captain Usopp. Okay, so Nami basically says, please, can we go and prepare better because we're going to the line place, which is like the most dangerous place in the world to sail. And then they're going to stop at this village to get some supplies. And then there we have a boy that runs around every day and says the pirates are coming, they're not coming. So he's basically like yelling wolf wolf, you know, in that story. And then the pirates are actually coming one day, which is them. But they're just like, huh, you're funny. And then they eat. And then they say they're just going to take some supplies and leave. They talk about a girl that is bedridden and like is really rich. And that she can be the only one who has a ship. Or like the least supplies they could get. And then in the end of the chapter, we see her and say that she wants to talk to Usopp. So it seems like they know each other. I don't even know. But yeah, so they're in this village place. We're basically just going around places, an adventure, preparing. Chapter 24 is the Lie Rejecter. And also he offered Usopp to join the crew and I'm like, no. That would be me being rejected. So apparently Usopp goes every day to Kyla, who is the lady in the mansion, and tells the stories that are lies, but she just laughs and thinks it's entertaining. It's like the highlight of her days because she's inside her room all the time, has this butler that is taking care of her. And then Luffy decides that they're going to go and ask for a ship after all. And they are going there and asking. And then the butler shows up and is like, you are a lousy son to a pirate. And he's just like, I'm proud of my father. And then Luffy says, I remember something. So maybe we know his father. I don't know. But either way, that's what we got from that. Also, Kyle is trying to defend Usopp. But yeah, it's sweet. It's sweet. I don't have that much more to say. I'm just going to continue with chapter 25, which is lies. Okay, so this backwards man shows up, which is Django the hypnotist, which seems to be working with another dude, and they're gonna go and murder Kaya. I assume they want some money or something. And it seems like he's working together with the butler, which is very, very sad because we just had a long speech from the butler how he wanted to protect her. Lies! Which is maybe why the chapter was called Lies. And then also we found out that Usopp is the son of Yasopp, which was one of the crew members of Shanks' crew in like all the way in the beginning. And I was like, wow. I hope he joins the crew now after all. But yeah, now it's chapter 26, which I think is the last chapter. Oh no, so I don't think I will get to see the wrap up for this, but we shall see, Let's go. And now I have finished with volume 3. So in this one, we just heard the whole plan where he had just been like pretending to be with his family so that the dude can hypnotize her before she dies so that when she leaves everything to him it seems natural. He just wants to chill there in this estate. So they're going to kill her in the morning and the pirates are going to invade the town. Luffy and Usopp hears the whole plan and then Luffy of course just stands up and is like, oh, don't kill her, and they're just like, be quiet, hide, and then he doesn't do that, and then they hypnotize him to fall on the cliff and fall asleep. Obviously he's alive because he's made of rubber, so it's gonna go look for him though. So Usopp goes into the town to yell at the pirates are coming, etc, etc, and all the townspeople are just like, again, can you be quiet? This is the second time a day. Please just stop. That's what happens when you yell wolf wolf, you know. No one believes you when it's actually real. And yeah, that's how it ends. And they're gonna wait tomorrow, but I'm not reading it yet. I'm hoping to get to the next one soon. Maybe we shall see. But yeah, that's the start of One Piece. It was a very, very, very fun ride. I didn't know, as I said, much about the story. Obviously, I heard about it, but I didn't know like anything about the story itself. And it was so fun to see all these things that I feel like I referenced and talked about, but I don't really like know about them until now. And I'm really happy I got to experience it. And it's really weird to think that, yes, I read 26 chapters and it's like literally like over 1,000 of them. It's insane to think about. It's gonna take me ages. But I still want to make this video, and I had a really, really great time. I really already love the characters, and I love to see like to say all the manga tropes and the story play out, and how like we have different like places. And I really like the setup. And yeah, I think it's a story that I will care, like I care about it now, but I think I would care about it deeply as we go on and stay with these characters for a long while. And yeah, I had a really great time. I hope you have enjoyed this little video. Leave a power flag emoji down below if you enjoyed this, and you should see me soon in a new one. Goodbye.